안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Thursday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon-soa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-exhibitions, K-people, K-everything. And before you realize, you'll be booking your flight to Korea. Today, we're joined by our Thursday co-host, Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa. And hello to everyone joining us today on The Culture Wave. I'm Bella, back again to co-host and fill you guys in with the latest K-entertainment news.
Right, we have K-Enter news coming up regarding concerts, movies, and also music videos.
Yes.
But what's also coming up is in our Hallyu People segment, we're going to talk to a person who is kind of acting as a cultural bridge between Korea and France.
Right, he is contributing a lot, spreading K-culture to the European country.
Especially when it comes to literature.
Right.
So that is coming up, but before that, it's Bella time.
Yes.
We're going to kick off with K-Enter news. And the first Enter news that we're talking about today is going to be very good news for K-pop fans in China.
Right.
What do you have for us?
Well, K-pop boy group EPEX is set to hold a solo concert in China next month, raising expectations that Beijing may be moving towards easing its tacit ban on South Korean entertainment. EPEX agency C9 Entertainment announced on Tuesday that the group will perform in Puzhou, China on May 31st as part of their Asian tour that kicked off in Seoul last December. EPEX's concert would mark the first time in 9 years that a K-pop group will stage a solo concert in China since 2016. Now, some of you may know, back in 2016, China had placed an unofficial ban on Korean culture and products in retaliation to Korea's deployment of the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System SAT. And there have been signs of China warming up to Korea with K-pop singers opening small pop-up stores, fan meetings, and concerts. But a full solo concert in separate venue holds a great significance for the two countries' cultural diplomacy. EPEX are currently on their Asia tour that began in Seoul last December, and the next tour dates coming up are in Macau on May 3rd and in Taiwan on May 24th.
Well, let's see how the cultural diplomacy between Korea and China will unfold from here on. Now, Bella, we're going to stay with K-pop, that is, and this time it is about a girl group that's receiving tremendous love on YouTube.
That is right. The music video for 50/50's latest release, Pookie, topped the trending videos list on YouTube this Wednesday. The new song was just released on Tuesday, so it's very impressive that this happened just within 24 hours. The music video surpassed 3.7 million views the last time I checked, just before our show, and it looks like it will continue to soar. 50/50's third mini-album, Day and Night, released on Tuesday, is about 5 girls' emotional journey to find their true identity as they face fear, confusion, and courage, breaking away from the world we live in. The new album features a total of 6 songs with double title tracks, Pookie and Midnight Special.
Well, the music video is really eye-catching and also very colorful, and that bubbly atmosphere of 50/50 is really represented in that video, along with the catchy melody.
Definitely.
So looking forward to their activities from here on. And Bella, for our last story, we're going to talk about a movie that's been doing very great on the box office.
Well, we talked about One Punch Man Ma Dong-seok's new film, Holy Knight Demon Hunters, previously on our show. Well, it has topped the box office on its opening day on Wednesday, just before the upcoming long weekend here in Korea. According to the Korea Box Office Information System, the new film claimed the top spot with over 117,000 views on its opening day. And this is actually very impressive, as it got ahead of some big titles that are also playing right now in the theaters, such as Yadang the Snitch and The Old Woman with the Knife. Holy Knight is an occult action film where the Holy Knight team of dark fixers take on the forces of evil in a city plunged into chaos by a cult that worships evil. Under director Im Dae-hee, the film features Ma Dong-seok, Seo-hyun, and also Lee Da-wit.
Well, I just watched Yadang last weekend, so now I know what I'm going to watch this weekend. Well, thank you very much, Bella, for those updates, and stick around.
Will do.
Now time to go over to our AI anchor, Ari, for other culture-related news. Ari, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The number of foreign tourists visiting Korea last month reached over 1.6 million, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. According to the Korea Tourism Organization, that's 105% of the figure from March 2019 and an 8% increase from a year earlier. China topped the list of visitors to Korea last month with 417,000 arrivals, followed by Japan, Taiwan, and the United States. Notably, tourist arrivals from the Middle East and Africa exceeded 107% of pre-COVID levels, while those from Europe and the Americas reached 134%. The National Museum of the Annals of the Joseon Dynasty fully opened today, unveiling a comprehensive look at 500 years of Joseon history. The museum is dedicated to the Joseon Wangjoshiro, or Annals of the Joseon Dynasty, and Eige, records detailing the dynasty's administration and royal protocols. This marks the full opening of the museum about a year and a half after a partial exhibition in 2023. Located at Pyeongchang County in Gangwon-do Province, the museum houses over 1,200 artifacts from Joseon, including numerous national treasures. To commemorate the museum's full opening, a special exhibition will be held through July 13th, featuring around 40 artifacts that shed light on the history of the Odesan archives, where the Joseon royal records were originally housed. How about spending the upcoming golden holiday surrounded by lush green tea fields? The Bosong Green Tea Festival kicks off on Friday at the Korean Tea Culture Park in Bosong County, Jeollanam-do Province. Blending tradition with a modern touch, this year's festival features over 80 programs that offer a fresh take on Bosong's iconic green tea, targeting younger generations and the global market. The festival's signature event, the Grand Tea Party, returns on a larger scale this year, welcoming up to 500 guests. A special KT Culture Pavilion will also offer immersive experiences highlighting Korea's growing presence in the global tea scene. The festival runs through May 6th. That's all from me. Keep it tuned to the Culture Wave.
Up next, we learn about a prominent Korean comic artist, Koh Woo-young, who continues to be celebrated for his unique storytelling technique through an exhibition to mark the 20th anniversary of his death. Cha Yun-kyung shares his story.
Artist Koh Woo-young received high praise for raising the standard of Korean comics. He was a true storyteller who reinterpreted classics and folk tales to give them a modern viewpoint. He left a lasting impression on his readers by reinventing strong characters from retold traditional tales like 일지매 and 가루지기. The Chinese classics, such as 삼국지 and Water Margin, were also reinvented through Koh's humor and art.
We say that the history repeats itself. While I was working on Chinese classics outside, my hair stood on end several times. It is just as the same as our situation. More than a lesson. A story from 1,000 years ago could be our story too.
The comics of Koh Woo-young secured a large fan base of adult readers, opening up a new world of Korean comics. Koh also received much love from the readers, increasing newspaper sales in the process. The special exhibition, Storyteller of Our Times, Koh Woo-young, sheds light on Koh's artwork and heritage.
We planned this exhibition with the hope that people, those who have read his works and young people, can rediscover the values of artist Koh Woo-young's works.
Koh's various works have been exhibited, such as his most well-known pieces, scripts, and sketches. Visitors can see a timeline of the life of the artist and his work at the exhibition, which will be run until May 16th at Cheonggang's Comics and Animation Library in the city of Icheon, Gyeonggi-do Province. Cha Yun-kyung, Arirang News.
France is considered the center of the Korean wave in Europe, with K-pop, K-dramas, and K-food being prominent forms of the K-wave that Hallyu lovers in France embrace. For today's Hallyu people, we meet with someone whose fascination with the Korean culture and people made him become a bridge between his country, France, and Korea. So let me introduce Jean-Claude de Crescenzo, professor at Aix-Marseille University, who is connecting with us from Aix-en-Provence in France. Hello, Professor de Crescenzo.
Hello, Professor.
Hello. Hello.
So, Professor, please, why don't we start with an introduction of yourself to our viewers, and maybe also mention your Korean name that you have as well?
Yeah. This name was chosen by my wife's maternal uncle, who simply worked around the Chinese character, finding a compromise between my French name, the way he perceived my character, and the first syllable of my late mother-in-law's name, which he wanted to pass in tribute to his beloved older sister. Jean-Claude is written in Chinese character, so.
Oh. All right, so you have that name Jean-Claude, Professor de Crescenzo, very interesting. Also in those characters, Hanja, or the Chinese characters. Now let's talk a bit about your recent book then, The Astonishing Koreans, or 경이로운 한국인. What is this book about?
Yeah, this book is called 경이로운 한국인 in Korean. I dedicated about a year of work to it. The idea behind this book was to talk about Koreans, not about Korea. There are many books that discuss the country, but very few that focus on Koreans. What interested me was exploring the daily lives of Koreans when they go to work, to restaurant, to the hospital, etc. I wanted to consider Korean practice in everyday gesture, highlighting everything that seemed surprise to me.
Well,
Wow.
if we read that book, maybe we'll learn even more about our
Koreans.
people, the Korean people.
Definitely. And I'm sure there are a lot of Koreans you're talking about in your books, but could you share one or two unique episodes or aspects of Korea culture or Koreans that you discovered and felt such intrigued about?
I may surprise you, but I'm especially impressed by the Korean sense of marketing, particularly cultural marketing. It is an undeniable cultural fact. In dramas, the inventiveness of the plot is remarkable, and even more so in K-pop. I could translate a book about BTS written by Hong So-kyung, and I was particularly struck by the marketing around this group. The same applies to cinema, where, for example, the film Parasite is able to entertain us while offering a sharp social critique of Korea. Even in editorial marketing, Koreans are very inventive.
So marketing, that's a very interesting aspect that I would have not thought about.
Right.
But Professor de Crescenzo, I'm very interested in this part here. You founded the Department of Korean Studies at Aix-Marseille University in 2003, I believe. So at that time, the Korean wave didn't really hit Europe or France. So what was your initiative back then when you founded this department?
At that time, I was the director of the master program in international negotiation, which included China and Japan, the Arabian world, and Brazil. I expanded this program by creating sections for Korea, Vietnam, Turkey, and the Spanish-speaking world. Back then, I saw Korea as a country of the future. I didn't have much knowledge about Hallyu, but I sensed that something was about to change in the world. I also wanted to Korea section to offer national diplomas. Initially, we had only 3 Korean language students. However, every year the number grew, and the university gave her the resources to create 3 national diplomas. Today, we have about 250 students from bachelor's to doctorate level.
Well,
Wow.
it's great that you already had that feel, that sense about it, of how Korea's culture could become big in the future. And that is why the department, I guess, was already ready when people nowadays wanted to get into Korean studies after they looked at K-dramas and also K-movies and listened to K-pop. So it was been there already for more than a decade now.
I know. So for someone, Professor, who have discovered this, a department 2 decades ago.
Right, 2 decades
Two
actually.
decades, yes. Did you expect this Korean wave to, take on its route the way it did? And also, what do you think of the current Hallyu boom around the world?
We had noticed how much students appreciated Korea, its language and its culture, especially K-pop and dramas. Regardless of the initial motivation of the students, it is the role of the professor to broaden their interest by showing them other aspects of Korean culture. That's what we did, especially when we created the Korean Literature Review Kulmadang with a student, which is now celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. It's still being made by combining the effort of both professor and student. It's a unique experience. Today, there is a real enthusiasm for Korea. K-pop, dramas, cinema, food, fashion, cars, not to mention mobile phone and household appliances are extremely popular. Even literature is rising. This is a great opportunity for Korea, but it's also important for Korean culture to highlight more fundamental aspects such as philosophy, mythology, and history in order to avoid a superficial understanding of Korean culture.
Definitely. And you're not only an author yourself with your book, The Astounding Koreans, 경이로운 한국인, but you also introduced numbers of Korean literatures to French readers. So I want to ask you how Korean literature is perceived and viewed in France.
There have been several phases when it comes to Korean literature. A first one in the 1980s and 90s, then in the 2000s and the current period. The way Korean literature has been perceived has really changed depending on each era. The general observation we can make is this. In the past, you needed a good understanding of Korea's history to really appreciate it. That's not quite the case anymore. The books then have become quite broad. I like to say they've been globalized.
I see. Now, Professor, between 2012 and 2024, more than 240 Korean literary works were introduced in France. I bet the number will grow in the future. But that means that they were translated and published. And of those 53 books, close to 22% of the total were published by your publishing company. What kind of books are they, and what were the criteria you looked at when choosing those Korean works?
Yes, we have published around 70 Korean titles. Yes, that's a lot. It's important to highlight the fundamental role played by the Korean Literature Translation Institute and the Daesan Foundation in the development of Korean literature in France. As for the Crescenzo publisher, its president, Frank de Crescenzo, published about a dozen titles per year, including 4 to 6 Korean titles. The selection criteria are difficult to balance, but we publish both mainstream work and those that are more difficult to access. I believe literature has the power to help us understand who we are, the kind of world we live in, how we can improve ourselves, and how we can do less harm to the planet. I have co-translated about 20 novels, a dictionary, and 2 essays. Notably, the novel Countdown by Lee Seung-woo received the Grand Prize for Translation awarded by the Minister of Culture and the Korean Literature Translation Institute in 2023. Personally, I'm especially focused on the literature quality of the text. It's important to receive text of high literary quality, not just nice story, even so that is the current demand from the public.
We hope for many more great selections by your publishing company. But finally, our question is, as a pioneer or ambassador of Korean culture, what are your future plans?
Oh, my goal haven't changed. I am to better understand Korean society and to give back some of what it has given me. So I'll keep writing books, especially about things that are disappearing in Korea, like I did with Peter Hyang Yohen, A Journey Toward In the Light, published by Pavilion and by the Crescenzo publisher. I also want to write more about contemporary Confucianism, and of course, I will keep translating literary works, especially poetry.
Looks like you're going to be kept busy throughout the years, and we will look forward to more of your own books and also the translations. So thank you very much, Professor de Crescenzo, for sharing your story with us and also for raising the interest in everything Korean to people in France and beyond.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. Merci beaucoup. And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to see you back next time.
Yes, I'll see you back next time.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave, which too serves as a means to provide you with Korean culture from all aspects, no matter where you are.